Hello everyone, welcome to the Ichimoku.co daily stock market review for the trading day ending Wednesday, July 29th. Well, firstly to the S&P 500, and here we see a good strong continuation of the trend to the upside for today's trading. Another white body candle following on from the white body of the previous day's trading. Buyers closing with control, being strongly committed to taking this market higher. A reduction in the size of the white body on the previous day, so the upside momentum is not as great as it was previously, but the reduction hasn't been enough to really be of any great alarm. There has been a good continuation of upside momentum, and the important thing here is the breach up above the 2100 round number and above the Ichimoku cloud. So we now have a bullish market in all three timeframes once again. That bullishness, however, is still not supported by the Chica span. It's below the corresponding price action, so that's suggesting that there's not that momentum behind this move at the moment, but that could change quite quickly. The worrying feature here, however, as I've mentioned previously, is the market oscillating above and below the Ichimoku cloud. And that suggests that there's a lot of indecision in this market in that longer term time frame, and some doubt about whether the buyers are going to be strong enough to take out the all-time high at 2134 and trade to higher levels. There is a possibility that could happen, but what we'd want to see is some good strong follow-through above that 2134 as well. Now, just taking a look at some stocks that are quite interesting, and firstly to Facebook, looking at the monthly chart, and here we see very solid bullish activity up above each of the Ichimoku indicators. The Tenkan-sen has been holding as support for quite some time. The Tenkan-sen for this month that hasn't finished trading trades at 85.88. That will be an important level. If we see a bearish close below there, we could see Facebook heading lower. Relative strength comparative is strong, outperforming the overall market, and over the last month and this month we are strongly outperforming the overall market. Momentum of relative strength is not as strong as it could be, but is recovering and suggesting that if we can see over the next month prior to this one that is closing, or after this one that is closing, if we can see that momentum of relative strength break out through the top of the bands here, we could see some strong upside price activity in Facebook on the monthly charts. Next to the weekly charts, and here we see for this week we've seen some selling coming in this week that hasn't finished trading at the moment, and that follows the market trading above each of the Ichimoku indicators, so some solid strength in the market. The formation of a very small body candle where the buyers have lost control has led to this change of trend that we're seeing this week, with a candle forming a lower high and lower low. Now we have seen at the moment the buyers come back into this market, the sellers lose commitment from lower levels, so suggesting that for the next week, if this candle finishes as such, we could see a change of trend back to the upside. Looking at relative strength comparative, strongly outperforming the overall market, and momentum of relative strength is trending up and up above the 100% level, and volatility is actually trending up and coming back into this market and manifesting itself as this uptrending price action in the medium term time frame. And to the daily charts, and here prior to today's trading we saw something of a pullback, but importantly the Tenkan-sen indicator holding as support. Today a change of trend in the first term time frame, a bullish candle, moderately bullish. The buyers have closed with control, they've shown some strong commitment. The small white body is a slight worry. We do have upside momentum, but it's only a small amount in net terms, but there is a very good opportunity for the buyers to continue this trend to the upside. Potential resistance at this swing high, roughly about 99.33. Looking at relative strength comparative, it's very, very strong by trading up outside of the upper bands. Momentum of relative strength hasn't really recovered from that sell-off that we saw, and it is recovering, however, and there is a likelihood of this, that if this trend does continue to the upside, we could see momentum of relative strength move outside the upper band and become strong. Looking to another strong stock, and Skechers SKX is the code, and here we see strong bullish activity up above each of the Ichimoku indicators for quite some time. Almost a year or so, we've seen relative strength strongly outperforming the overall market. Momentum of relative strength is trending up very strongly and has been doing so even more in the last 2 or 3 months, and volatility is trending up very strongly, and that's reflecting this very strong upside momentum, strong uptrending price action. Potential strong support at the Tenkan-sen at 91.47 if we do see some selling coming into the market. That was the monthly chart, and to the weekly chart, and once again strong uptrending price action, a very solid white body candle forming for this week. Support at the Tenkan-sen will be important to this market. 117.11 is where it trades. Any bearish activity down below there could see something of a retracement. Relative strength comparative is once again strong and a very strong outperformer. One worry here is volatility. Volatility has reached a cyclical high and is beginning to trend down. So we may start to see either a pullback or the market start to congest. We're not seeing that at the moment, however. We still have a very strong uptrending price action in that fast-term time frame, but we should be watching the Tenkan-sen 117.11 very closely for any potential breach to the downside. Looking to the daily chart, and strong bullish activity in all 3 time frames. Very solid stock here. Chickerspan is strongly supporting the bullish price activity. Relative strength comparative continues to trade outside of the upper band, and momentum of relative strength is starting to tick up. It has been quite flat, but is starting to tick up. Volatility is not really doing a lot here. It's been coming off, but not performing outside of either of the bands. And if we do see the first-term time frame develop further to the upside, we could see that volatility continue to move higher. The Tenkan-sen has been holding as support for today's trading, 124.18. The market has been testing down below that level, but the real benchmark here for Skechers on the daily charts is the Kijun-sen, here otherwise known as the baseline. 117.54 is where it trades, and if we do see any strong bearish activity down below there, we could see a continuation of the trend to the downside, but at the moment the Tenkan-sen is holding quite strongly. Next one to look at is Disney. DIS is the code, Walt Disney Company, and strong bullish activity in all 3 time frames. Solid buying coming in for this month. The buyers look like they're going to close with strong control if we continue like this. Relative strength comparative is very strong. We're trading up above that upper band and has been for quite some time, and a very strong outperformer against the overall market. Momentum of relative strength is moving up higher and performing outside of the bands, up above 100%, and that suggests that we could continue to see that strong activity. To the weekly chart, and once again performing up above each of the Ichimoku indicators, so an uptrend in all 3 time frames. Looking to the Tenkan-sen to hold as very important support, 113.78, as this area has been tested on a few occasions and we've seen solid buying coming in. Relative strength comparative continues to outperform the overall market, but momentum of relative strength seems to be coming off, so perhaps all is not well there with that relative strength. But looking at volatility, volatility is moving up off a cyclical low, starting to perform outside of the upper bands for this week, and if it finishes in this way, we could see a continuation of the strong uptrending price activity. To the daily chart, and following a pullback in the market testing down below the Tenkan-sen indicator, we've seen the buyers come in strongly today, closing with control, but testing just to the support level around this high 119.90 is where that high was, and we've tested just to there today. We've actually closed at 118. Now we've closed at 119.84. Yes, 119.84. So that will be a real test for this market. Relative strength is now back up above the upper band, suggesting a strong relative strength comparative, very strongly outperforming the overall market. Looking at momentum of relative strength, however, it's coming off and suggesting that it's not as strong as it was previously. The volatility is actually coming off from a cyclical high, and suggesting that if we don't break out up above this area, we may see something of a retracement or the market forming a congestion area around these levels.